Hi everyone and welcome back to my Consultant Explorer channel. I'm Charlie and I'm here to help you explore the early career years of management consulting, help you to be successful at it and show you how to make the most of the opportunities that it can open up for you. I spent 8.5 years at Accenture building the most incredible launchpad for my own career, and now that I'm starting and running my own businesses, I get to choose what I work on whenever and wherever in the world that I want to. And that is the kind of freedom that I can help you find in your journey, which starts just as mine did in management consulting. Some of the coolest stuff in our world right now relates to technology. Things in our lives are being continuously improved through the use of tech. Businesses have problems that are being solved with tech. So the tech aspect of consulting is partly what draws people to it. It's well known that consulting companies deliver technology and specifically software to their clients. But if they're delivering software to clients, then are they building that software from scratch? And if not, then how are they delivering software to clients? Are they somehow delivering a tech company software to their clients? And if so, are both companies employing the same sorts of people, like developers and testers? And who does what in the instance of a consulting company delivering a tech company software to consulting clients? In this video, I'm going to cover where that software comes from, why tech companies want consultants to deliver the tech to their own customers, and how consultancies make that possible. Starting with where the software comes from, it's important to understand who builds the software and who owns it. The software that consultancies deliver to their clients remains under the ownership of the tech company that built it. These tech companies are usually called software as a service companies or SaaS companies. They have product management teams who determine what the software should do and which problems it should solve and in which order. They have engineering teams who build that software to solve those problems. And they build that software in such a way that it is reusable by as many different customers as possible. There might be industry-specific versions of that software, but even within an industry-specific version, all customers within that industry would use the same version. By contrast, management consultancies generally don't build software like this from scratch. And because they don't build it, they don't own it either. There are some exceptions to this rule. For example, consultancies sometimes build in-house software that is used by their outsourcing and consulting teams to do a better job. And there are even a small minority of consultancies that do build both software and hardware, like, for example, PA Consulting, which is where I started my career. But on the whole, management consultancies aren't builders of their own software. Instead, they focus on developing further the software that tech companies build from scratch, and they do this on a client-by-client basis. They're effectively customizing the software from tech companies for each and every individual consulting client. And they also build integrations between that software and the other technologies that each client already uses where necessary. In fact, this is why you'll sometimes hear consultancies referred to as systems integrators, or SIs, although that phrase grows older by the day now. Now, tech companies that build the software that consultancies then go and customize for clients have to build it in such a way that it can be customizable by consultants. And this means that they have to make decisions about which bits of that software should be customizable for customers and to what extent. They typically create two different ways that consultancies can do this. The first is called configuration. Configuration essentially happens through a guided interface. It's a bit like when you download a new app like LinkedIn or Instagram, and you can choose certain things like which profile photo you want, which cover photo you want, or how you want your privacy settings. That is configuration, and it's this kind of experience, although a bit more complex, that tech companies create for consultancies to configure the software for their clients. The second way that tech companies enable consultancies to customize their software is through the use of code. In this option, consulting employees actually write code to develop entirely new or different features within the software. In fact, in the land of consulting, this option is generally what the word customization actually refers to. Customizing software is clearly more complex than configuring that software, and so usually it's only done if configuration can't be used as a first port of call to meet the business need. And a final side note, there are also many instances in which the tech company builds the software in such a way that it is already useful to the client exactly as it is. That is to say that no configuration or customization is required. If this is the case, then we say that the client will use out-of-the-box or standard functionality. So our next question is, why do tech companies want consultancies to do this customization work for clients? Why don't they want to do it themselves? There are some tech companies that have in-house consulting teams that do this work for clients. But on the whole, consultancies choose not to do this. Instead, partnering with management consultancies creates a whole host of benefits, like scalability with development resources, as many as required to deliver to as many different customers as possible. It can help break down legal and financial barriers to landing a new customer if the consultancy is already working with that company as a client. And it creates credibility for smaller tech companies if they have an association with a larger enterprise consulting brand. But the number one reason that tech companies want consultancies to do the client delivery work is that tech companies want to be tech companies. They want their core focus to be on building a brilliant core product and not on customizing it a million different ways. They want to rely on consultancies to have the skill sets and know-how to do that complex bit. So, tech companies don't staff roles on client project teams to customize the software for those clients. These roles are staffed by consultancies and also by the clients themselves. The only exception to this rule is if a tech company is completely new to a consultancy, and so the consultancy won't have employees that are skilled up already in using and developing that technology. In this instance, the tech company will likely staff some experts onto the first few client projects so that consultants can shadow and learn. Once they've learned enough though, they will pick up those project delivery roles and the tech company will step back. Okay, so given we've just touched on how consultants can learn to deliver a new piece of software, let's move on to how consultancies make it all possible. There is a range of things that consultancies do for each of their partner tech companies to learn the technology, to stay on top of how it evolves, and to drive upwards the number of customers that they're delivering that technology to. Given that the number of different technologies that a consultancy might partner with could number into the hundreds, if not the thousands, they don't do all of these things for every single technology partner because that just wouldn't be realistic. Instead, they determine the amount that they do for each partner on the basis of how big the partnership is, i.e. how much client revenue it generates or will generate, in terms of how many clients are wanting to have that software customized and delivered into their organization. I've got another video on the spectrum of partnerships which talks about how a tech company could go from a very early stage partnership all the way through to gold standard partnerships, if you're interested in learning more about that. But for now, here are some examples of the activities that a consultancy does in order to learn how to deliver a software, stay up to date with it, and deliver it to more clients. Consultancies often train up their people in approved certifications to ensure that their people have the required level of skills, and as a proof point to both clients and to tech companies of the skill sets that are sitting within their organisation. These certifications are generally actually released by the tech company themselves. Consultancies also sometimes create centralised hubs of experts or specialised talent pools for specific technologies in specific locations, so that it's much easier for their employees to find the right people with the right skills for the project team they're trying to staff or for the bid they're trying to win. Consultants often attend the events that tech companies put on to showcase the technology and what you can do with it. Again, this broadens and deepens consulting employees' knowledge of that software. And it's also a great opportunity to both network and bring clients along to sell that technology into more client organizations. Consultants will even dedicate people to the partnership so that there are always people that the tech company can call should they have a question or even a problem. There will also be people who work so closely every day with that software within the consulting company that they are able to attend joint product road mapping sessions with the tech company, feeding back any real experience they've got on the ground with client delivery work and helping to inform the product development path moving forwards. And as a final example, consultants will often work jointly with a tech company in landing new customers, either in collaboratively responding to an RFP, a request for a proposal, or in proactively going after new work together with mutual investment that makes part of the offer free and therefore more attractive for new customers. So in order for a consultancy to start to do any of these things, the tech company has to be recognised as an official partner. It's not the case that a consultancy can just deliver any software to any client because it just decides it wants to. Well, it is the case that the consultancy can deliver any software, but in order for it to start to get to work, an official partnership needs to be in place. This means that there needs to be at least a basic legal structure in place to enable the communication between the consultancy and the tech company. Often they'll need to talk through things like which clients or customers they can jointly sell to, or how they would together price that work. So even at the very beginning stages of a partnership, in order to enable the transfer of that confidential information, something more official needs to be drawn up first. Then, as the partnership grows more complex because it's starting to generate a pipeline of client work and therefore a revenue pipeline, then even more official things like contractual structures need to be put into place to enable that pipeline to come to fruition. I've got another video that explains exactly how all of that contractual stuff works and how the partnership develops over time, if you're interested in learning more about that. But for now, hopefully this video has helped you understand a few things about software partnerships with management consultancies. Firstly, how management consultancies can deliver software to their clients without actually owning that software or even building it from scratch. Secondly, why technology companies want consultancies to be customizing their product for consulting clients. And finally, how management consultancies ensure that they are able to do this customization in order to generate the revenue for themselves as a business. If you found this video useful, then do let me know by clicking the like button. And if you'd like to see what I post next, then definitely subscribe to my channel. Social media links are below if you'd like those. And if you have any questions or comments, then feel free to use the comments box below and I will do my best to answer absolutely everything. In the meantime, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day and I wish you all the best with your exploring.